Good morning. Welcome to 49ers in 5, your daily update on everything happening with the team that you need to know. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. Today is Wednesday, September 6th, 2023. Here's what's happening with your San Francisco 49ers. There was no practice yesterday, so I don't have an injury report for you, although let's be honest, knowing the Niners, a couple guys probably did manage to get dinged up. So we'll skip right past that for today and go right to the audio portion of the show. We are all waiting for Nick Bosa to show up. And right now, the longer it goes, the more depressed we seem to get. At this point, it seems like there's only one person who expects Nick Bosa to suit up on Sunday. That one person happens to be Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin.
Yes, we are preparing for Bosa. It's prudent for us to assume that he is going to be there and prepare in that vein as opposed to be surprised. We were in a similar circumstance with a dynamic rusher a couple of years ago in TJ. We got a deal done at the 11th hour. He showed up in the stadium, and he was TJ Watt that day. And so that's what those guys do. They show up, and they are who they are. And so we expect him to be there. It's the prudent approach to take, and if he's going to be there, we know the type of player that he intends on being, and so that's something to be dealt with.
From your lips to God's ears, Mike. I hope you're right, but at this point, it seems really, really dicey. Really thought yesterday was going to be the day where they got this done. But as we went through the day, I heard two conflicting things on Nick Bosa that I wanted to play for you. The first was kind of positive from Michael Lombardi on the Pat McAfee show.
It's not a hard contract to do. The conversation centers on a couple factors. Are we going to pay you more than Aaron Donald? The contract is old. Aaron Donald's contract was done a while ago. So it's still $7 million higher than the nearest defensive tackle, right? Quentin Williams' deal, it didn't even come close to where Donald is. And Williams isn't the same player. He's great, but he's not Aaron Donald. However, that being said, it's kind of an older contract. So the Bosa deal is, look, are we going to pay you more? We know TJ Watt's deal came in at $28 million. We know Myles Garrett's deal at $25. Can we settle this at 31? Is it 30? Is it 29? And then you get into the guarantee. TJ got $80 million fully guaranteed. Bosa's certainly going to get over 100. Some guys, as we talked about last week with Kyler Murray's deal, the skill and the injury play a factor in the total guarantee. But I fully expect Bosa to get done. I have expected this for a while. It's not a hard contract to do. It's how much are they going to get close to Donald, or are they going over Donald?
All right. That sounds positive. Not that tough a deal to get done. Okay. I'm with you. And then I heard Ian Rappaport on the Insiders.
The Bosas take their value extremely seriously. From the top, from the father to Joey Bosa to Nick Bosa. If there was one family that could ever hold out into the season, this would be it. I don't know that that's going to happen, but I'm just saying this is one family that believes what they believe and will take that stance like essentially Nick Bosa have done. This is a hard contract to do. My understanding is they are already over, the 49ers are already over $30 million per year. They're already over TJ Watt. He is going to be the highest paid pass rusher in the NFL. That is not the question. The question is, does he beat Aaron Donald's contract of 31, either 0.4 or 0.7 million? I can't remember right now, but somewhere
0.7.
So that's the biggest question, 0.7. There you go. But that's not just it. There was a $5 million roster bonus that Aaron Donald got when he decided not to retire. So how to account for that, which is spread out over the years, it's extremely complicated, and trying to figure out where Aaron Donald came in will help get this deal done. But the two sides obviously have a disconnect in how it's configured.
Is that really where we are right now? We're arguing over $5 million spread out over some amount of years. I mean, if that's where we are, shame on both sides of this thing at this point. Like, that's the last thing you're fighting for. Like, if you're the 49ers and you don't pay that $5 million, you really think you won the contract? You really think that that's going to unlock some secrets for the roster? And if you're Nick Bosa, like, you really need that $5 million spread out over 5-6 years? Like, that's really what's going to push you over the top in these contract negotiations at this point, if that's where they are. And I don't know that I'm just going off of what Rap Sheet said. If that's where they are, then both sides need to get their heads out of their asses and get this thing done. We always give you one thing to read, one thing to watch, and one thing you might have missed. One thing to read on this Wednesday. Steven Ruiz of The Ringer released his annual quarterback rankings. You will be very interested to see where Brock Purdy lands on that list and who he's behind. If you want to read the article, just click the link in the description of this episode. One thing to watch. I had the opportunity to sit down with Damon Bruce yesterday, Bay Area radio host, infamous host, some would say, but he was very kind to me. He gave me an hour of his time. And during our conversation, we tried to answer one simple question. Are the 49ers a well-run organization? You'd be surprised. It's not as simple an answer as you might think. I'll keep the link to that interview in the description of the episode as well. One thing you may have missed, not huge news, but the Niners did release kicker Zane Gonzalez from the injured list with a injury settlement. What does that mean? Well, could mean two things. One, could mean that Jake Moody's good to go and the Niners are confident he's going to be healthy, or it could mean that Matthew Wright looks good enough at the practice squad that they don't need to sit around and wait for Zane Gonzalez to get healthy. I hope it's the former, but it's probably the latter, but who knows? Either way, Zane Gonzalez gone from the 49ers. That's a wrap on today's 49ers in 5. Please rate, review, and follow the Gold Standard Podcast Network. Enjoy your Wednesday, everybody. Stay tuned for Stats and Cone, which is 9 a.m. Pacific time. That will be live on YouTube. I'm sure we'll have plenty of Bosa questions. I'm sure we'll have plenty of lively discussion. Please, please, please join us. Even if you just want to yell at us, join us anyway. We'll take it. We can take the heat. We're big boys. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. We'll talk tomorrow.